Hey there, and welcome to this YouTube Encore presentation of my talk during Social Media Day Miami 2013. My name is Marc Enriquez, and I advise local business owners and solo practitioners and professionals on how to create and maintain profitable relationships with customers in their local area. And during the talk, I tweeted out, and if you aren't already following me on Twitter, you can search for me by name. My handle is Marc R. Enriquez, and that's Marc with a C, R. Enriquez. And if you happen to have your mobile phone handy and want to just do it that way, you can also scan the QR code, and once you press Open Browser, my profile should open right up in your favorite Twitter client on your mobile device. During the talk, I used the hashtags. The official hashtag for the talk was ProfitableSM, and of course the hashtag of the day was SMDay MIA, as in Social Media Day Miami. Now, by the time I finish this talk, you will come to know marketing as a simple 5-step process to help you effectively find, sell to, and create raving fans out of your best, most profitable prospects. Now, because this is a Social Media Day talk, we will of course be focusing on how to use those 5 steps or take those 5 steps with social media and all of the technologies related. But a couple of things that you should know about me: I am not a social media marketer. Rather, I'm a marketer. And what I mean by that is that I obsessively study the principles and natural laws that govern why people buy, what they buy, who they buy from, and why they stay loyal to a given provider or why they leave and head to somebody else. And I apply those principles using any media, any tools that are available to me, anything I wish to learn, so long as it's appropriate for the market, and I make what I want to happen. So I would say to you, please don't limit yourself to solely the use of social media. Social media is great, but I kind of liken it to walking. Just because you learn to walk on carpet or you learn to walk on tile doesn't mean that's all you're limited to walking on. Walking is walking, and therefore it doesn't matter whether it's grass or concrete or asphalt or tile floors or fine wood floors beneath your feet. You know how to walk. So learn to become a better marketer and be able to use any such tools at your disposal. Now, the second thing you need to know is that even though the information that I present to you here may be new to you, it's not entirely original. I got this information from a lot of different sources, a lot of people who are way smarter than me, and here's why this, even though maybe a shocking admission, was important for me to say. You see, they say that there's no such thing as a shortcut to success, but I highly disagree. I say that the shortcut to success is to identify those people who have achieved what it is that you want to achieve in life and model them in terms of their actions, in terms of their beliefs, and most especially avoid any mistakes that they themselves made along the way, and you will get to your destination a lot faster. So everything that I'm going to share with you has been proven either by me, the businesses I advise, or well over 100 years of successful entrepreneurs who came before us, many of them self-made millionaires who created their wealth in the profitable service of their fellow man. So, let's get right down to it. How do you know your marketing is effective? Well, the most effective marketing works in tandem with the way that we as people, we as consumers, actually come to the decision to buy something. And that process works in 4 steps. We first enter the awareness phase. Then we enter the consideration phase. Then we enter the preference phase. And finally, we make a purchase. Now, when I say awareness, I'm not talking about becoming aware of a company. I'm talking about becoming aware of a need, which I'll show you examples soon enough. You see, this is kind of my big beef with branding, because branding is supposedly all about making people aware, and specifically aware of your company, who you are, what makes you great. But the type of awareness I'm talking about is awareness of a need or a problem that needs to be solved, or the awareness of something that they may now want, but not awareness of a company. I think that that people spend too much time focusing on communicating with a message that has to do with how great they are and why they are the best provider for something, instead of focusing on what the prospect or customer actually cares about. My saying about that is, whether or not I like or trust you is absolutely irrelevant until I understand why it is that I need you. So then we enter the consideration phase, and this is the phase in which now that we know that we have a need, we consider all of the options available to us to fulfill that need. We may see the different options and ask questions about those options, and finally, once we hear the answers we like, we come to a preference. And then finally, once we have a preference, it's not a far step after that to then make a purchase. So this cycle can actually be related not just to the way we buy things, but the way that we make most decisions during our day. So, as example, let's talk about being hungry. When we're hungry, we are aware that we want food in our bellies. But once we take a look in the fridge, we are now considering our options. Let's say I found some leftover pizza. Now, knowing that that's what it is that I want to eat, this is my preference, and finally, I eat it, and that's me taking action. Well, that's how it all works for most decisions, so purchasing isn't really that different. Why we buy stuff, let's say, for example, now going into the purchase cycle or the buying cycle, I caught a flat tire, I was able to change it before it started raining, but now I am aware that I need a new tire. So I ask around, I say, I'm going to Google this too, but hey, does anyone know a good place to buy tires in Miami? And perhaps somebody responded to me. Now, in fairness, my mom doesn't actually have a Twitter account, but this was just for the example. Say that she told me about a place. I called that place. They had the tire that I needed for the price I liked, so now I'm headed over there. And of course, once I'm taken care of, or once I make that purchase, I'll be all taken care of, and I will have satisfied my original need that I became aware of, that I needed a tire. So, the 5-step marketing process that I talked about, the 5-step path to profits, can be easily remembered with this acronym, TRACK. And I find this convenient because, in addition to being really easy of a word to remember, just TRACK, it also serves as an additional reminder that everything you do in marketing should be tracked and measured. If you can't track and measure what it is you're doing, and you can't compare that against dollars made, dollars put in or effort put in to dollars in return, just don't touch it, don't do it. If you can't even figure out how to track it, don't bother, because you'll largely be wasting your time, or worse, you'll be wasting your time and you won't know it. But at any rate, this 5-step acronym stands for Target, Resonate, Attract, Convert, and Keep. Now, T is for target. And when I say target, I'm talking about picking a very specific group of individuals who you want to do business with. Now, 3 basic qualities of your what I call BMPPs, your best, most profitable prospects, are 1, that they need what you can do for them. 2, they can afford the pricing you want to set. So if you want to be a premium priced provider, make sure that you market to people who can afford that. And 3, and really importantly, they are easy to reach as a group. And this is probably where we focus a lot of our attention and in terms of this 3rd quality with the use of social media. So where do you start looking for your best, most profitable prospects on social media? Well, one approach would be to ask your BMPCs, that is, your best, most profitable current customers, people who already know, like, and trust you. And what I mean by that is, instead of, I think it's important that you have feelers out there on all of the various networks and somehow set up alerts so that if somebody says something about your business, you are able to respond with some agility. And I say some agility, I don't want you to go out there and just respond really negatively automatically. Think things through, because what happens on the internet, it's on the internet, it's not Vegas. But ask your best, most profitable customers, hey, are you online? Where are you online? Are you an avid Facebook user? Do you use Twitter? Do you use one more than the other? Are you on LinkedIn? And you look for and you focus first on the network that your existing customers already hang out on, and this is based on that principle that says that like attracts like. So it's very likely that your best, most profitable customers, and therefore best, most profitable prospects, hang out with other people just like them who have similar characteristics that may make them, ideal targets for your business. And so, if that being the case, they probably participate on social networks with those same friends, and therefore, that's where you want to go. Now, whether or not you have customers already to approach, another thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to look at those places on the social web that serve your market. So you have Facebook pages, Google Plus pages. You have Facebook groups, Google Plus communities. You have blogs, and now you have hashtags, which, of course, that having started on Twitter, has now even recently become accepted and are being used on Facebook. So these all represent places that your target market may hang out and have conversations, and most importantly, can easily be reached as a group. Now, I'm not saying that you should go to somebody else's Facebook page or group or community or blog and start spamming because you can reach them. That's not really how this works, and I'll get into that with the R process, but just know that, and when I say these pages that serve, pages and groups and blogs that serve your market, think about people who are in your industry, people who serve your market but are not competitive with you, so you could call these folks complementary marketers. These are the places that you'll want to go to make connections with your target market. Now, R is for resonate. Now, you might be wondering why there's a picture of me kicking. Instead of just explaining what I mean by resonate, I thought I'd give you kind of my backstory, because I got into the marketing world as a martial arts instructor. And so one of the things that I've always really been passionate about as a martial arts instructor was, when you see that child who, before starting with you, cannot sit still or stop talking to save their lives. And over a matter of a couple of months, few months, and throughout the years that you get to train with them, you see that person, that young person, transform into a leader who you can trust to be in front of class, who you can turn your back on, not letting them down, turn your back on, but I mean turn around and not have them in sight, and know that they're behaving well, who can lead examples in class. It's just phenomenal to me. And my favorite success story in that regard is of the 82-year-old gentleman who started with me many years ago, who at first couldn't kick higher than, say, my knee, and who, in doing warm-up exercises, I was afraid we were going to potentially break something, because if you looked at his leg when he first started, it seemed like his thigh and his calves were thinner than his knees. And so I thought we were going to hurt something, but in 6 weeks' time, I saw that muscle develop back. He is now a second-degree black belt and is able to kick at, about my tricep height, which is between my elbow and my shoulder. And recently, as I understand, he took a little fall at a large retail store because someone had left out a pallet. And had he not had the training, he could have been much more hurt, but he came out of the whole ordeal with maybe just a small gash on his forehead or something like that. But for the most part, he was fine, and that's thanks to the martial arts training. Now, the reason that all mattered is because I love that, and I wanted to see more people in our community do that. So I took over the marketing for my instructors academy. It wasn't even my own business, but I wanted to learn how to do marketing. I started out, just trying to help and create marketing collateral, and I have to tell you, looking back, that stuff was really terrible. I was doing a lot of the mistakes that I advise people against today. The headlines on our postcards were simply the name of the school. On the back of a postcard, I may have told the entire history of the art from 1945 to the present, because that stuff was important to me, but not, if I asked any audience, and just like I asked the audience yesterday, was that stuff important to, or is that stuff important to you guys? No, absolutely not. So my approach changed after I understood what marketing was all about. Now, you see, living down here in Miami, of course, many of the families that we served were of Latino descent. And during an enrollment conference, I would ask So what is it you're looking to accomplish? Let's say with the family or parents of a child who is to enroll in the school, what is it that you're looking to accomplish with a martial arts program? And they would tell me something like, well, we want them to learn focus and discipline. Now, the least mature marketing martial arts school owner would market based on the name of their art. The second level of maturity in martial arts marketing is they would start talking about those base values that you can gain from martial arts training, so focus and discipline, just like the family said. I always went a little deeper and asked the questions, and I said, hey, please humor me here, but I'm going to continue to ask you why. And I said, so why is focus and discipline important to you? Well, we want him to do better in school. Well, why is that important? Well, we want him to get better grades in school. Well, why does that matter? Well, we want him to qualify for scholarships. Well, why is that important? Because we want him to go to college. And why is that important? Well, and you'd come to this point, the whole reason we came to this country in the first place was to have better opportunities for our families than we had ourselves in the old country. Oh, that's what karate means to you. So instead of marketing like most other martial arts schools, and instead of like most other companies that would just think it's all about getting the word about your company, I would send out this message that said this: discover how to effectively eliminate your child's reliance on you or federal financial aid to get a great education and live a successful adult life. Now notice, I didn't use the words karate or subakdo, which was the name of the art, or anything like that. I spoke directly to, at the core, what it was that my market wanted, and that's how you resonate. That is the resonant message. Now, how do you do that using social media, or how do you get to that point using social media? Well, I was sitting down in front of parents, but you use the opportunities presented to you by social media by doing research. So we say R is for resonate, but it also stands for research. Well, how do you research? You examine those areas, those pages, those groups, communities, blogs, hashtags that are used by your market, and you study them for the conversations that happen. You participate as a member so that you can really get involved with these groups, but at the same time you build social capital, because by building social capital you can actually prompt certain questions and get deeper answers, just like I did with sitting with those families in enrollment conferences. So I mean, just imagine you join a group for the very first time and you go in asking questions that look like market research questions. Who's going to answer you? A lot of people are going to shun you as some kind of spammer, even though you're not trying to sell anything. They just know that, hey, this person's trying to make money off of us by asking these market research questions. Instead, participate as a member, make friends in the group, and now anytime you ask a question, it's like, oh, that's Mark, and he participates on everything, and he likes photos, and he comments, and his comments are really good. He has a question. I'd love to answer that for him. And then the third thing you do is you put on your radar those things, those specific language constructs, the way that they speak. Avoid your own jargon and just talk the way your market talks, so that you resonate. Again, that's the whole point, is to resonate. And resonate means that what they sound like and what you sound like, you guys sound like you're on the same page. So be very sensitive to that. Next, we talk about A is for attract, and to me, this is where the relationship really starts. A like on Facebook, a follow on Twitter, even a connection on LinkedIn. That is a very shallow representation of the connection, because that can happen whether or not two people have met in person. And what you want to transition to is actually meeting face to face. Maybe at least talking on the phone, maybe being able to send them, or at least starting to deepen the relationship. So we do that using what I call a handshake offer. And a handshake offer is an offer of something highly desirable for very low risk in return, usually just a name and email address, okay? And you use, a lead generation or let's say an online form to collect that information and automatically distribute the information they want. Now, how do you know what is highly desirable information? Well, you go back to the R and you do some research and you find out what it is that they're trying to solve, what problems they have, what problems they face, what doubts they have, things like that, and you understand, you'll learn what content your market most wants. How do you do that with social media? Well, first you have to create that free content, free information, and package it into something that you can transmit Once again, using email would be preferred so that you go at least a level deeper than just a like on Facebook. And then you may create additional content. This is generally the way we do things. You may create additional content on your blog, distribute that information throughout your social web, throughout the different networks you participate on, and that would be one way of getting people back to your website so that they could then opt into your report. Now, how do you know your attracting is effective? Well, ignoring for a moment preference and purchase, you should know that most people are either aware of the needs they have, or they are unaware of potential solutions for problems that they're facing. Or let's say, for example, they find out about something new that they could be benefiting from. So the example that I like to use is that of a plumber. And though fixing toilets could be an everyday thing for a plumber, having a broken toilet may not be an everyday thing for an average homeowner. So one of the things that you want to look at as a plumber is you don't want to market to people based on, hey, is your toilet broken? Because that's not enough of an everyday thing. What you do want to make them aware of is something else that they face that's within your field of expertise to help them solve. So the example I use is have the plumber create a piece of content that says, download my free report that shares with you, and I'm making this up on the fly, shares with you 5 simple fixes within your household that may be costing you hundreds of dollars extra a year in terms of leaky pipes. And so who doesn't want to save a few $100s in their year, or any amount of money really, and all they have to do is download this report, read it over really quick, maybe follow some checklist, and they could save money. Well, who wouldn't want that? Now, by doing that, you initiate the relationship, you have contact information, and you can continue to stay in touch with this person so that when they finally do need a plumber, well, they skip the consideration phase altogether. They already prefer you, and then they're going to do business with you. They're going to purchase your services. That's how this would work. Who else wants to just outright skip over any competition because with a pre-existing relationship? I'm pretty sure you do. Now, C is for convert, and specifically what I'm talking about when I say turn acquaintances into paying customers is selling. Now, we don't generally sell directly using social media, but if you have, assuming you've got the T, R, and the A part right, like you've targeted the right person and you know how to resonate with them, meaning you have the right person, the right message, maybe you have the right offer, but for some reason they don't buy. Well, those reasons are usually going to be that they still lack trust in either you or your offer, or they don't have a sense of urgency behind what you're trying to sell. So one way, or one thing that you should talk about, and one way that you can help with conversion with social media is to share case studies, customer testimonials, and allow other people to talk about and build trust in what it is that you offer and who you are, instead of talking about yourself. What other people say about you is definitely, hundreds of times more credible than what you may say about yourself. And the other thing that you can do is you can communicate urgency. You can remind people that, hey, if you were going to take advantage of this offer, time is running out, spots are filling up, and you can talk about that kind of stuff, and that will help along with your conversion process. And finally, K is for keep. And by keep, I mean to have these people around. And like I said, this is about profitable marketing or profitable social media. Profitable means that you are not just focused on the one-time sale, but you are focused on every sale after that also. And I don't say every sale meaning that the whole purpose here is just to be greedy about making money. Mind you, we are making money by helping people with resolving the problems they have, the needs they want fulfilled, that kind of thing. So as long as you're there and are able to keep up with their needs, I mean, going back to our plumber example, hey, you fixed my toilet, but now my faucet is dripping, or hey, now that the faucet is not dripping, I still hear a weird sound in the pipes in the house. Can you come over and fix that for me? Well, that is something that you are responsible for. You don't just expect them to come back to you because they had a great experience with you. You maintain that relationship and keep in touch with them so that they know who to go to if those problems arise. Now, how do you do that? To me, customer retention is about making your existing customers feel uniquely important to you. I mean, how many times have you ever seen those coupons that say, with this really great offer, but it says new customers only, right? Well, doesn't that make you, as existing customers, feel feel like crap? So instead, make the customer feel important in a couple of different ways. Number one, solicit their feedback. Because they've had experience with what it is that you offer, they are in a unique position to tell you what could be improved, what they love about it, what other people will love about it, things like that. You can create new additional content based on the kinds of needs that you suspect they have or that you've researched they have, and this will keep them happy and loyal with you. Of course, you can sell them new solutions. And that's kind of the whole point of the profitable long-term relationship, is that they're going to continue to see how they need you, and you're going to be able to continue to make money from that. And then this is kind of like a little social media tactic. It's something that I call clever cross-promotion. It's the idea that, let's say I wanted to share a picture with you on Twitter. Well, instead of uploading that picture directly via Twitter, I might upload it on Facebook and then share the Facebook link on Twitter, so that not only are you looking at the picture, but you're also landing on my Facebook page. And hey, if you want to like me on Facebook while you're there you go. So, and the importance of that is I call it the strategy of omnipresence. I want to be in your inbox. I want to be on your Twitter. I want to be on your Facebook. I want to be in as many different places as I'm comfortable being. I want to be in your postal mailbox if I can. I want you hearing from me on the phone, but only because you give me permission to and because you appreciate hearing from me, that kind of thing. Now, going back to the question that was posed by the title of this presentation, why didn't your last status update make you money? Well, if we look at those 5 steps of marketing, chances are you've connected with the wrong people for your message, so now you understand how you can fix that. You've connected with the right people, but your message is irrelevant to them, so now do research, ask questions, get better acquainted with the people who you are trying to serve. And then after you have those points, it may be one of these next 3 things that you're not doing effectively. You may have the right people and they agree with what you have to say, but beyond that, you aren't taking that first step toward a deeper relationship. That could be a problem too. There could be folks that you have taken the first step with, but your offers may again be irrelevant, or you fail to communicate value, urgency, or trust. So now, communicate value, and value is not numbers like pricing and discounts and stuff like that. Value is, if I buy this, I am going to get exactly what I want. It's the whole concept of my child will not have to use, federal financial aid or student loans or me to get to college because I'm enrolling him in karate. That's value, okay? And finally, you may not be giving existing customers who already know, like, and trust you any reason to either do repeat business or refer new prospects your way. So make them feel special, ask them questions, get them involved, develop new and interesting material just for them, sell more to them, and of course, cross-promote and get deeper within their world so that you're all over the place for them. So that pretty much finishes up my talk for Social Media Day. Again, the hashtag was ProfitableSM, and I would love it if after watching this video you appreciated it, that you could send me a tweet with the ProfitableSM and SM Day Miami or SM Day MIA hashtags to let me know that you got a chance to view it. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.